The boys are back together. The BibleCode Sundays play PowerHaus in Camden on Saturday 19th of March. This will be a reunion as lead singer and guitarist Ronan MacManus has rejoined the band after some years out of it.
Well, I think basically during the lockdown, it was kind of a bit of a reset for all of us, really. Everything has kind of stopped, all the gigs stopped, no one was gigging, and we're getting some messages through from people saying, are you guys going to play again together when everything opens up? And I think we all just got chatting again over the lockdown and thought, let's do something nice, So we talked about doing a big gig with all of us, and it being this kind of a big emotional kind of return. And then it was more practicality that got me on the stage with the lads again, because Cian was stuck in Ireland and he had taken over the lead singer when I left. So it was sort of like, after this big idea of us doing this big emotional reunion, it was like, we've got a gig in the Three Wishes, can you cover it? So it kind of became a bit very BibleCode Sundays of us, just to kind of get back together kind of like without really mentioning it.
By accident.
By accident, yeah. So it was, I think it was just a kind of, there was seemed to be a lot of interest in the songs, and this year actually is 15 years since we recorded Boots and No Boots album, which had Irish Londoner and Drinking All Day. And I think it's a lot of things kind of came together, I think. And I think the first few gigs we did, we just laughed the whole time. We had such fun. I think I certainly loved being on the stage with the lads again, and the energy that is created when we're together there's no other band like it. That I don't feel that with anybody else as much as I do with these guys, and it felt like I'd never been away. Yeah. And it was just so easy. And
since they released their first album, Ghosts of Our Past, in 2006, the BibleCode Sundays have meant a lot to the Irish community in London and beyond. They have played everywhere from Galtymore to London Irish Rugby Stadium and Celtic Park, played festivals like Glastonbury, and featured on The One Show.
And I think it's something Andy was saying a second ago to me, was that we're finding there's a whole generation of kids whose parents were following us 15 years ago, and now they're coming to our gigs and they know the words to Irish Londoner and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys didn't see us live a lot of the time, because between lockdown and just turning 17, 18, 19 and being able to legally drink, a lot of these guys haven't seen us at full strength. So that was like the reasoning behind our up-and-coming Paddy's weekend gig at Under the Bridge. There's going to be a lot of new kids there that have never really seen us play live before, and it's an opportunity for them to maybe go down with their parents and see it all, kick off. So,
I mean, some of those kids were conceived at our gigs. Yeah, I think these the nights that we remember, all the times we did the Galtymore and the nights with the Cladders and all those sort of big nights that happened over the course of the years. I look back at such fond memories for people. That those memories that bits that they can actually remember, because they were pretty messy, those nights. But I think I think those sorts of nights is what people need now. They need that buzz and that sort of fun. And I think we've discovered that in ourselves as well. That sort of the real fun element of being in the band, because it was just the best days of all of our lives. Being on tour and doing all those things, and to sort of feel like we're recreating that for another generation is great. And
Tragedy struck the band in 2017 when drummer Carlton Hunt passed away suddenly. Joe Cotterill would replace Carlton on drums, and the band would carry on gigging through hard times.
I don't know if we wanted to carry on, we just didn't want him to be gone. Yeah. It was just, it really, really hurt a lot. It's a big loss. Someone that you're working with every weekend for 10, 15 years. It was really dear to, was godfather to my kids. I was best man at his wedding. And to lose someone like that, just like that, was really hard. And then the interest went out of the band. I didn't have any interest in it anymore, to be honest. Just going through the motions. Ronan's pushed on that point earlier on. We were just going through the motions. Then Davy Kenny joined us here. Joe.
And then when the lads, Cian called me and said, look, and I said, I know what you're calling me about. Like, and there were like how many days later when you gig? It was just like they were straight in.
We gigged the day after because the day after Carlton died, there was a charity gig for an air ambulance in Luton. So we felt like we couldn't let them down. We thought, well, when would be a good time to go back? And Carlton would want us to gig because he always took the gigs. So we actually gigged. He died on the Friday. We actually gigged on the Saturday, and we kept going. And it was really his philosophy to take the gig, do the gig, and he was always a driving force in the band for that, for keeping on gigging, keeping on going. And that's always the running joke is they played with everybody over the years, and so the best tribute we could make for him is to get back out there and do it. And I think that's something that we all feel and something he would be very proud of, and it's something that would be very familiar to him.
Losing Carlton had hit the remaining members very hard, and it was in early 2019 that Ronan announced his departure from the band. The Bible Codes would continue with Key and Chanter taking over on vocals, while Ronan focused on solo projects and his duo Brand New Zeros.
I left at the start of the year, so I'm just kind of doing my own thing now and just playing solo and just spending more time with the family. And
I think there was at the time when basically about a year after Carlton died is when I left, and I was struggling a lot at that time mental health wise. I was really in a low ebb and I needed to kind of get my life back on track, and I think the lockdown period kind of made us all have to stop. So we all end up in the same boat, really, thinking, well, how do we build this back? So we were rather than me rejoining, it feels like we're all rejoining at the same time. It feels a bit more like that to me.
Although it was thought 2017's Walk Like Kings, which featured guests like Hollywood star Russell Crowe and Ronan's brother Elvis Costello, would be the BibleCode Sundays' last recorded album, the boys are now planning on recording a new album this year.
We had just launched our last album, Walk Like Kings, only about, was it a couple of weeks, was it? Before the Carlton died, a couple of weeks after it. So that never really got a fair crack at a whip. We obviously we didn't do anything to promote that album after that. So we feel like there's unfinished business. We've got something just to really play those songs again, and really, because Carlton had written some songs on that album. He'd written two songs off that album. So I feel like those songs never got their time to shine. So it's owe it to him really to get out there and do it again.
I was constantly getting messages, just listen to Boots or No Boots again, or Ghosts of Our Past again, and people were going, this is great stuff. You should record another album. And I mentioned it to the boys, and everyone was Ronan definitely was up for it. We're all keen to do another album for sure. People are always asking us about the latter two albums we did, which were New Hazardous Design and Walk Like Kings, and everyone always says, they're not like the first two, and they weren't. We musically couldn't write another Boots or No Boots or Ghosts of Our Past. We'd done that, and we had to take it somewhere else. I mean, that's just what we had to do. And this time we're going to go back to the original format, and we're going to try and write
like the songs about the Galtimore and Dysons.
Exactly. Drinking, drowning, and our fascination with the mafia. The next step is to write the album. I haven't written anything yet. Have you got anything?
Nothing yet. No.
I have nothing.
No. We will though.
We will. It's coming.
We will, yeah.
It's coming.
It'll be out by Paddy's Day. We always launch an album on Paddy's Day.